We're going to go out on a limb here and say your neighborhood Chinese takeout joint probably doesn't serve anything close to the level of food this place is turning out. 7 Star Street Bistro in Roslindale is today's special. They say that good things come in small packages.
Thank you for calling 7 Star. How may I help you?
And at 7 Star Street Bistro in Roslindale, they prove it with every order. This closet-sized space with one lone table in the corner may be small in size, but there's nothing small about the masses of hungry customers they feed on a daily basis.
I like to describe our restaurant as a real mom-and-pop establishment. We don't have a lot of square footage, but we all care and we put out a great quality product.
That's owner Christopher Lin. He grew up cooking at his father's restaurant, 7 Star Mandarin House in Newton Center. Then as an adult, Chris went to culinary school on the West Coast.
Kung Pao beef.
So while he does serve classics like beef lo mein and Kung Pao beef, he does it with a modern touch and some French technique he's picked up along the way.
In some ways, I feel like we're trying to break the common mold of a Chinese takeout restaurant. Most of the dishes are classic. We might change around the ingredients a little bit or do little variations on them, but we're not trying to reinvent the wheel.
So you can get your scallion pancake, but at 7 Star, it's going to come slathered with hoisin sauce, stuffed with roast beef and cilantro, and rolled up and sliced like sushi.
You just bite into it and you get the kind of heartiness of the roast beef and the crunchiness of the scallion pancake, a little bit of sweetness from the hoisin, and then the freshness of the cilantro all at the same time.
The orange soy glazed baby back ribs aren't like anything you'd find in your run-of-the-mill poo-poo platter.
They're not the typical spare ribs you might find in a typical Chinese restaurant. We braise them for hours and they're, I guess you could say, a little modernized. The ribs are crispy when you bite into them and they just fall off the bone. They're one of those things where you bite into them and you want more and you don't know why, but you fall in love with them.
One recipe Chris didn't change from his father's restaurant was the famous hot and sour soup.
It's something that I didn't even realize myself growing up, how many people loved the hot and sour soup. You know, whenever I meet people who come into the restaurant, they always mention the soup. It's the best hot and sour soup they've ever had. Some people love the tofu, some people like the egg, some people like the ground pork. I love taking a sip of the soup and tasting the fresh cut scallions. So I think everybody kind of has their favorite part of the soup.
Of course, there are plenty of wok-stirred dishes to choose from at 7 Star, so Chris has to keep the fire cranking as the tickets keep coming in.
Everything that you do when you use a wok has to be very fast.
The crispy shrimp and scallops come in a ginger garlic glaze that not only lights up your palate, but the whole kitchen as well.
It gets tossed in the wok and we kind of flambe it, I guess you could say. It makes a huge flame in the wok, so it looks pretty cool when you're cooking it too. It's a beautiful looking dish and extremely tasty.
The Hunan sesame chicken is another tasty classic, featuring high-quality chicken that's sliced paper thin and cooked extra tender.
We used really thinly sliced chicken and delicately cook it. It's kind of got that almost melt-in-your-mouth quality to it.
But if you want the chef's top pick, order up the pork with Thai basil.
Pork with Thai basil is one of my favorite dishes. Whenever somebody comes in and they want a recommendation on a wok dish, it's got really nice spice to it, and the Thai basil's so fresh that it really brings the dish alive.
Since the food is so good here, preparing it takes a little extra time, but without a doubt, it is worth the wait.
We're not a fast food restaurant. We make everything to order, so the wait times can be pretty high, but you know, the way I justify it is we put care into what we do and we come out with an outstanding product. I don't want to compromise the quality of the food, so I think people wait, and I think we're popular because we offer something that you can't find other places. Your typical Chinese takeout restaurant will have your food ready in 10 minutes, and there's a reason why it takes us longer.
And while it may take time, it hasn't deterred any traffic, because once you've tried the food at 7 Star Street Bistro, you'll be hooked.
I've heard people call it addictive, and they said, what do you put in the food that makes it so addictive? And the only thing I can really respond is we just take a lot of care and we pay close attention to, you know, what we do here.